Claude Code is the fastest growing AI coding tool in the world right now, and for good reason. Projects that used to take weeks now take only hours by leveraging the power of AI agents. But it doesn't stop just there. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can code up to 10 times faster by leveraging some new AI agent coding abilities in Claude Code. My name is Sean, and for years I've been helping Fortune 500 companies save thousands of hours through process automation. AI agents are the next wave, and they're going to be what turns thousands of hours saved to tens and hundreds of thousands of hours saved. Not taking advantage of these tools in 2026 is leaving so much potential on the table. So go ahead, open your terminal, follow along, and let's get started. So like I mentioned, Claude Code is a super awesome development tool that was created by Anthropic that runs on AI agents. And it's able to do a ton of different things. Since it lives in your code base, it can actually write code in your files, it can read your code base, it can run commands, and it integrates with all of your favorite development tools. And one of the best parts is that it's available pretty much anywhere where you work. In the terminal, in your IDE, so maybe VS Code, Cursor, or Windsurf, or even Anti-Gravity by Google. And even in the browser, you can access it. So that sounds great and all, but what does that actually mean? Well, if we take a look at the evolution of coding, we started from actually having to write everything ourselves without any AI assistance, which of course took hours and took a lot of independent research to bug fix, into having sort of an AI co-pilot while you coded that would be able to fill in text for you, fill in lines of code, generate commits, and maybe perform one small task. Now this was limited to only small and specific tasks at a time, maybe a single feature, fixing a single bug, etc. Now this was still an improvement over having to do everything yourself, but the next wave of development in coding assistance is when we became capable with AI agents. So copilots were great. They were little assistants that can help you out, and they were able to do, small tasks. Now, agents in coding are able to do much larger tasks like an entire code base, comprehensive testing and documentation. And it's not that it's able to take on just a large task all at once, but it's able to break it down into a bunch of small tasks and complete them all individually that together add up to something that is large. So this is where we've been at for a while, and it's probably how most of you are using tools like Claude Code, Cursor, Windsurf, etc. But this is just the start because new tools like Claude Code are integrating with something different that uses multi-agent systems. So what does that actually look like? Let's take a look here at one of Claude Code's features. So now you can ask it the same task, right? We're creating an entire code base. It says I want one of you coding, one of you testing, and another documenting. So it's being able to split up the tasks. Now the main benefit to this is that you're able to go much faster than you were beforehand. You can see that there's this main agent here that's kind of like the project manager, and it's able to communicate to all of the sub-agents. And each sub-agent has a specific role. So this one has its glasses on, so obviously this one is the coding agent. This one has a pencil, so this is going to be the documentation agent. And this one's got a test tube, so this is the testing agent to match all three of the use cases that were mentioned up here. This is already a great step in the right direction to making agentic coding faster with sub-agents. But again, Claude Code took it to the next level. And that's where agent teams come into play. You can see it's the same thing. It's saying if we want to write a code base, one coding, one testing, one documenting. Again, there is the coder, the documenter, and the tester. But this time, while the main project management agent is able to talk to all of them, and they are able to talk back, the difference between this and sub-agents is that these are each able to communicate with each other. So let's think about what this actually means. Let's say that the tester is running its tests, but it reaches a problem and it's able to talk to the code agent and tell him there's an issue here, we need to actually update our code. So the code agent can go and write some more code. Then after the code agent finishes there, it can tell the documenter agent to now document those new changes. And each of them are working on multiple things simultaneously while working with each other. And then they're able to communicate back to the project management agent. If we compare that with sub-agents, in order for the testing agent to know what the coding agent has done, it needs to first reply back to the main agent, then the main agent needs to tell the coding agent, who then needs to tell the main agent again, who needs to again reply to the testing agent. You can already see how much more streamlined this newer way of working in agent teams is. All right, so let's dive a little bit into the Claude Code documentation and learn a little bit more about these features. So this explains really well what Claude Code is capable of. First off, being able to kind of pick up a lot of the tasks that you don't want to be doing in your day-to-day basis, like writing tests, running them, doing documentation, fixing linting, things like that. Then there's the primary feature that you use, which is going to be building features for your application and fixing bugs. With Git integration, it's able to stage your commits, push them, and write commit messages as well, and do branch control. If you're not using MCP and instruction skills and hooks, then you're definitely missing out on some things that Claude Code has to offer. I'll make another video on these, but basically these are what allow Claude Code to interact with other things, reach out and perform actions. So maybe it can reach out to GitHub and get information from there, or reach out to get information from your Jira cards to know what task you have to complete. That's more of MCP. And instruction, skills, and hooks will tell it exactly how to go about doing that. And since Claude Code is in the terminal, there's a ton of CLI integrations that are super awesome. And like I mentioned before, working from anywhere. So you can have it in the terminal, in your IDE, in the web, or on the desktop app. Now, agent teams is what we're really interested in learning more about here, because it can spawn multiple agents to work on different parts of your code simultaneously with the lead agent. And then all of the sub-agents or other agents that are spawned up can communicate with each other to complete their tasks in parallel and in unison. Now, if we take a look at how standard Claude Code works, it all begins with your prompt. This is the user prompt and what you're telling Claude Code to do. Then it goes into this agentic loop, which is where all the magic actually happens. Gathering context is the first step in here, which is super important for it to understand the context of what it needs to do. So this could be reading your files, this could be leveraging MCP and reaching out to other sources to get information and examples so that it knows how to complete your task. After it has the context, it takes actions. So most likely this is going to be writing code or running commands, and then it verifies the results to confirm that everything that you asked for is completed properly and that it's working. Then it loops back, again gathers context if it needs to adjust. So if something was wrong in the verification, it will loop back, again gather new context to solve the new problem. Let's say it runs into an error, take action, verify results, and then keep going in that loop to complete your task, which is why Claude Code is so powerful as a coding assistant. In the middle of that, you can interrupt it at any time, add in new commands and new prompts to kind of steer it in the direction that you want it to go. At the very end, you'll have a completed assignment or code base in whatever format that you had asked for. But how could we improve this even further? And that's when we're going to start looking at things like sub-agents. But how can we improve this even further? And that's when we're going to start looking at some of the newer Claude Code features like sub-agents and agent teams so that we can make this process faster and our results even better than they were before. So Claude Code has a pretty awesome table here that goes over multiple different features, what they do, when to use them, and gives examples. And you can see sub-agents and agent teams are both on here. Now, I'm not going to go over everything that has to do with them, but I will go over a quick summary. So sub-agents are great for isolated execution, and they're all kind of contained within a single session. So it's still parallel tasks, but they're in a single session with specialized workers. Like I mentioned before, it could be like a researcher, a documenter, and a coder. And a good example would be if you have a lot of files and you only want to return key findings. So it's a very specific kind of tasks that multiple sub-agents can do in parallel. Agent teams are different in that each agent is going in its own session. So it's still parallel, it's able to do parallel research, but it's able to work on multiple different things at once, like feature development, debugging, and competing hypothesis, because they can kind of communicate with each other, debate, and come up with the best solution. So a good example would be having multiple different reviewers to check different aspects of the app, like security, performance, and other tests all at the same time. Let's clarify even further, because they're both parallel work, but they're actually architecturally different. So sub-agents will run inside a single session and return results back to a kind of like an agent leader, while the agent teams are all independent, different Claude Code sessions with different agents that will communicate with each other and with the main task. Now, one important thing to note is that with sub-agents, the cost is going to be lower because they're all part of one context rather than multiple different contexts, which are all kind of building up their own costs simultaneously. So with TLDR is that you want to use sub-agents for quick and focused tasks, so something very specific, and where they could have multiple parallel ones going over at the same time tackling that problem. While an agent team is great if you have multiple different kind of tasks and you want them to communicate with each other, to challenge each other and come up with the best result possible. I think it's easiest to visualize this through an architectural diagram that Claude Code has in their documentation. So sub-agents have a main agent that spawns multiple sub-agents that can all do the same task or different tasks, but they're going to be siloed. They're each going to perform their work, get a result, and give it back to the main agent. And they all report back. And it's pretty clear how agent teams are different, in that you have your team lead, which is the main agent, and it creates a shared list of tasks. Then each, not really a sub-agent, but a kind of a teammate agent that is spawned, will communicate with that task list and get the tasks that are associated with their role. It'll work on there. It'll communicate with other teammates and see what they found, share what they found, and overall cross off the task list and share it back up to the main agent. So let's actually start by playing around with sub-agents. So we're going to hop into the terminal here and start up Claude Code. And the first thing we're going to do is type in /agents, and this will let us create a new agent. So press enter there. We're going to say that this is going to be personal. If it's project, then it's going to be only for a specific project, but we want this to be global so that we can use this sub-agent in any project that we have. So let's go personal. We're going to generate this with Claude. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to paste in this text that I have here that's going to create a new agent. It's going to be able to scan files, suggest improvements for readability, performance, best practices, etc., explain the issues, show the current code, and provide an improved version. So this is a code improvement agent. So let's go ahead and run that. Sweet, so we just created the new agent, and these are the permissions and the tools that we're going to give it. So we're only going to give it read-only tools for now to make sure that everything stays safe for this tutorial. So read-only tools, continue. This is the models that we can give it. So I'm going to say this one can use Sonnet, and we could pick a color. So this is what will show up in the terminal when that agent is running. Now I'm a big Mets fan, so I mean, obviously blue or orange for me, and since this is a Claude Code tutorial, I think we got to go with orange here. Now this is memory, and it actually saves it to a file. For these purposes, we are not going to use memory. And there we have it. This is kind of the description of the agent, all of the information about it that we gave it, and let's press enter to save it. Cool, and we can see our agent right here, the Code Improvement Advisor. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open up a code editor. So I'm using anti-gravity, and we're going to test out this code improvement agent with some real code that I have for setting up a self-hosted N8N instance. All right, so let's go ahead and spin up Claude Code in my code IDE now with my project. So we could do /agents, and see our agent. Yep, the code improvement advisor. Awesome. We'll escape out of there. And since we made this a personal agent, not a project agent, that means it will be available in this project as well, even though we didn't explicitly specify that. So let's go ahead, type in this prompt, and we're going to change this to say the code improvement advisor. And we're going to go ahead and run that and see what kind of suggestions it will give us. So we can see it running now, and like we specified the color before, we can see that the color is shown here along with our agent name. And it's looking through all my files and it's trying to analyze it. All right, it looks like it's done here. Use 23 tools, and we're just waiting for it to wrap up. Awesome. So here is the end result. So this is the code improvement. It gave different issues that it noticed in specific files. So there's some hard-coded credentials it's saying in my Docker Compose, which is the local setup for N8N. It's saying there's some emails in some actual emails in the examples. A bunch of other things that it's saying could be security concerns and potential issues down the road. So it's split it up, which is kind of cool, into critical, high severity. There's also medium severity, which is just not as critical. So different slight improvements that I could make, and then some things that are low severity as well. So yeah, to give top 3 quick wins. So yeah, that's pretty cool usage that you can do for sub agents. And now we're going to take a look at how to actually use agent teams. So just to note, agent teams are experimental at the moment. They're disabled by default, and they do have known limitations, but we just need to add this setting to our settings.json file, which should enable it. Luckily, there's a code snippet here that we'll copy and put into our settings. So again, we'll open up our settings.json in anti-gravity. Let's open it. Awesome. And we'll print in the ones that we just copied. So that should enable the agent teams mode. All right, so we're going to hop back into our terminal here and start up Claude Code. And the cool thing here with agent teams is that you actually don't need to create certain agents like we did with the sub agents. We can actually just give it a prompt and it should create and run the agent teams on its own. So let's go ahead and paste in this prompt saying that we're going to design a CLI tool. It's going to track to-do comments across their code base, and it's going to create an agent team to explore this from different angles. A teammate on the UX side, the technical architecture side, and one that's going to be a devil's advocate. So let's go ahead and run that and see how it uses the feature that we enabled to set up and run and coordinate an agent team. These are all the steps that the UX specialist is doing. It's performing a bunch of web searches, and we can check out the tech architect. We can see what this guy's doing. Looks like it's parsing data. Oh, task number 2 assigned. Cool. Check out the devil's advocate here. Let's head back to the main one and see how we're still waiting. But I see that the other ones are grayed out on the bottom here, so I think the only one that's left still running is the UX specialist. All right, it says all 3 are in. They're going to shut down the team. It's going to synthesize it from the main agent and let us know what the result is. Cool, so it just spit out the plan, and let's see what it's saying. It's going to give us, okay, a design brief, product thesis here, give 3 perspectives with multiple different features. All right. And it has a technical foundation here saying what language to use, parsing, storage. Pretty cool. And yeah, here's the actual CLI portion of it saying what the commands would be. So it's going to be a CLI tool called to do. And it's telling us kind of what to avoid when we're building this. So it broke it up into multiple different phases and shut down the agents. Awesome. So you can really see what the potential is here with these multi-agent systems, where you have multiple agents running at the same time, completing their tasks in parallel and in unison, while you have your terminal completely open to do other tasks on your own. Now, this is just scratching the surface because there are so many tools out there that are available to help in every part of your business, and more tools are coming out every day. I'll be here to stay on top of them so you always know what's going on with the latest AI technology and how you can use it to get the best results for your business. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.